Hey gamers, Maniac here with GameAccess.net. Doing a special unboxing this week. We are pretty much closing up with a 2-month span of major games. And this week, there has been another major game release. Came out at midnight last night at my local store. I actually went with Princess Angel to literally go pick this up at midnight, and we got snowed in. It was so bad, but we picked it up anyway. Gears of War Judgment on the Xbox 360. I'm a huge Gears of War fan. I've been playing Gears of War games ever since the first one came out on the 360 back in '06. I actually have the PC version of the game. I remember testing it at the first E4All. I also have many fond memories because, well, let's face it, the engine that Gears of War was based on, the Unreal Engine 3, was one of the first times it was ever demoed was at E3 2004. That was when they were just showing off the technology of what was going to become Gears of War. And I was actually there for that event to see it at NVIDIA's booth that they were hosting at E3. And I thought that was kind of interesting. There's also was another release to coincide with this, and I usually will show these as well. This is the hardcover Gears of War Judgment collector's book. The reason why I picked this up was it is listed at $30. This is actually a few bucks less than some of the other sticker prices were on some of the new hardcover books. I've seen hardcover game books release this season for as much as $35 to $40 for a hardcover. That's why I've been buying most of them off of Amazon. But I honestly thought $30 for a hardcover book was a pretty fair price. It's got all the information about the game that I want, but also, and this was the kicker that I was very interested in, it actually does come with an exclusive weapon skin for the Lancer. It's listed right here on the back of the book. So they basically included some DLC with it, and I will be unlocking that later. So that's the book. That's the game. What do you say? There was no collector's edition release of this. However, those of you who did pick it up, there was some DLC available at launch, particularly some special skins for young Marcus. There were some special weapon skins that were available at launch, and there are specially marked packages of the game which will include DLC codes for the first Gears of War game, meaning the original. You can download the original Gears of War to your Xbox 360. So that's what's out at launch. Like I said, there's no collector's edition. The game is a $60 retail release with no other releases with it. After having paid $150 for the Gears of War 3 collector's edition way back a couple of years ago, I'm actually grateful. My wallet is pretty grateful for that because that was a very overpriced and unnecessary edition, and I felt pretty burned after picking it up. So I'm grateful that this major release, this is like one major release this season I could think of that is not coming with a collector's edition, and I'm so happy about that, and so is my wallet. So let's crack this open and let's take a look, shall we? This is the game as I got it last night from GameStop. As you can see, they made sure to include this little leaflet that says that they will guarantee me $30 of the $60 game I paid for in-store credit for a game that I literally just purchased right now, this moment. All I can say is, no thank you, I'd rather just keep the game. So this is it right here. As you can see, Baird is on the cover. He has been an ancillary character in the past. This is a prequel game. This takes place before the first Gears of War game. That looks to me like the Cole train right there. And next to him is a new character that we haven't seen before. And this is the game itself. This is the back. As you can see in the back here, it does list specifically that 4-player co-op is doable in this system. A whole new bunch of enemies, and new game modes are coming. It also lists who made this. This was made by actually the People Can Fly development team. I remember them actually as the guys that made the Bulletstorm game a couple of years ago, and I actually enjoyed Bulletstorm. Nobody actually liked Bulletstorm when it came out. I think it was just a bit too much of a blast in the past, or too retro or something like that for some people, even though I thought it kind of went back to some of the early stuff that Epic was working on back when they were doing games like the Unreal, the earlier Unreal Tournament games and stuff like that. It kind of had that kind of feel to it, with the, and I kind of like the use of the vulgarities and stuff, the score system and points, and all. It didn't really make too much sense in the realm of the game's universe, but I thought it was a nice breath of fresh air for otherwise stagnant game type, like the first-person shooter. So I actually am even though Epic did not make this, nor is Cliff Bleszinski directly involved. He actually has left Epic, the director of the first 3 Gears of War games, and probably one of the biggest guys at Epic. Probably the one bigger would be Tim Sweeney, who invented the Unreal Engines. Bleszinski is not directly involved in this project because he did leave the company. It was a bit of a sad day when that happened, or maybe for some people, they just needed a fresh start or want to do something new. For some other cases, it's just like, times they change. Nothing ever stays the same. And that's the same for the video game industry. Things are changing all the time. So this is the game, and I will just pop it open. I got to admit, though, that even though some people probably would find this Xbox sticker annoying that holds up the case, I don't mind it at all, because that at least tells me if the sticker's in place that this is a brand new game. So I always check the packaging and the sticker when I'm buying something at like GameStop, for example, to make sure that they never opened it, in which case if they do open it, they just basically destroy the disc. So even though you're paying $60 for a game, you get a destroyed disc with it. And this appears to be a download code for the first Gears of War game. Don't know what I'll do with it. Maybe I should do it as a giveaway or something. I already have a copy of the game. And that's the disc. So, as you can see here, they're not doing leaflets. They actually printed the usual warning leaflets on the inside cover of the game itself. I have no problem with that at all, actually. It saves space. I definitely wish that they had included something with this. Obviously, this is a $60 full-price game. It would have been nice to have included a manual or something along those lines. But then again, in the last couple of years, companies have absolutely refused to include manuals and stuff. Another thing I want to make a reference to is, as you can see here, even though this did include a freebie of the first Gears of War game, fine, I have no problem with that. Please notice there's no download code included for any multiplayer. Thank you, Epic. Thank you for saying no and spitting in the faces of all these other idiots that do that. There is no reason whatsoever to have an extra download code for any unlockables of game content. It's unnecessary, it's unreasonable, it's stupid, and especially when you're dealing with the Xbox 360, which charges for multiplayer already, it's unnecessary. So I appreciate that Epic decided that they included all of the game's content itself without any extra unlockable nonsense. As I said, I do consider this an early game purchase or bonus, and not necessary to the gameplay. This is a completely separate game. So basically, they're trying to give you a bit of extra value for people who may not have the original copy of the game. Fine. Sony does that all the time with certain games. Like it happened with Assassin's Creed. It happened with Assassin's Creed Revelations. It's happening with BioShock Infinite. BioShock Infinite on the PS3 is coming with the first BioShock game, according to the commercials that I've seen. So that's pretty cool. So definitely a thumbs up on this one. It's on one disc. There's a free game included with it. They did a nice cool little thing by having the safety information on the back of the cover. And no manual, but nobody uses a manual anymore. So that's how you have it, and that's pretty nice. So definitely a good purchase. What do you say we unbox this? This is the Gears of War hardcover collector's edition book with some DLC included with it. So what do you say we crack this open and see what we think of this book? Now, as you guys know, on the site, I have done, actually not me, but we've published on the site several reviews of video game art books done by my cohort, Princess Angel. And because of that, I've actually been buying several books, several of these books, just so Princess Angel can review them. Some of the books are kind of hit and miss, because nowadays they're not doing separate art book releases as much as they're doing hardcover guidebooks with maybe a little trinket or something included with it. I know Bioshock Infinite's collector's edition book is going to include like a... I like the graphics, I got to admit that. I definitely like the art. I like how it's organized and stuff like that. I especially like this whole cover right here. So, it would be nice though. I don't really see any specific. Yeah, it doesn't look like I see any specific pages really with books. But I guess the download code is like the big thing, and this game is hardcover. I don't see any extra pages though, which is kind of disappointing. So if you're interested in getting this, then basically just be aware. It doesn't look like there's any extra pages included. Here, let's see what they say on the back, actually. There's that. There's that included. All of this stuff does appear like it would be included with the normal softcover edition of the game, with the exception of this skin. So definitely a good companion book to have around. I think it's about a $10 premium over the regular one. If you like hardcover books, I totally recommend it. It's got some definitely detailed information, but I'm fairly certain you can find the same information on the paperback version as well. I don't think there's any extra content here. It doesn't look like it. But if there is, be aware that this does include a download code for a special Lancer skin. So definitely get it if you're interested in a Lancer skin, or if you just happen to be like me and are a collector of these type of books. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching. This is Maniac with GameAccess.net, over and out. I'll see you in the field. Let's go, Gears.